Gym. Lessons learned from sparring. So, I think like a few months ago I made a video about my experience of boxing. Like I started boxing because I wanted to burn more fat and to have more confidence. Those were my main tenets. And I basically described my experience with it, and it was interesting. I'm not going to say what happened in the video. If you're curious, and you can watch it. But I'm going to talk about in this video about my lessons learned for first time sparring. And I've only been learning boxing for like 3-4 months now. So I am not that good at boxing yet. I have the fundamentals down, but I'm not like a pro that I can pretty much break everybody's ankles and do weird ass Muhammad Ali flicks and shit. No, I'm still pretty much learning. But today I decided the last few days ago, I decided I want to try sparring. And one of the instructors was like, "Oh yeah, you can try it." It's like anybody can try it. It's like I went, and basically what sparring is, it's basically when you actually fight somebody, like 1v1, like punching, and like punches to the heads and body and whatnot. So what I was doing for the last couple months was just doing pads or doing the speed bag or doing the heavy punching bag. So this is me versus an inanimate object. So I'm learning the technique and whatnot. So it's like pretty AFK. It's still pretty exhausting to do. It's very intense. But sparring is a completely different beast. You're out there actually fighting somebody else. You don't know what moves they're going to make. And it's very unpredictable. You have to be dynamic. Your body is pretty much reacting in little microseconds and instincts. And at the same time, you have to fight against your fear or fight or flight instincts. And you know, a lot of people, when they do sparring or when they look at boxing and they haven't really fought before, they're like, "Oh, if I were in a fight, I would just go punch him in the nose or something and he's gonna get wrecked or something." And like a lot of people who have never had experience, like I was like that for sure. It was like, "Oh, if you're just in a fight and somebody's bad coming up to you, I would just run away or whatnot." But I will tell you, for me, it was not like that at all. Me personally, I learned that I'm a freezer. So I'll tell you what happened in the experience of this fight, where everybody sparring. So I was just fighting one of the instructors. He's like this black guy. He's around my height, and he's super fucking jacked and ripped, like very, very lean. And he's like genuinely a pro. He's a pro boxer, but he basically adjusts his skill level for whoever he's fighting. And he was basically like playing all aggressive and whatnot and doing the punching stuff, and he went like super light. And you know, me personally, I didn't want to hurt the person. I didn't want to hurt the guy. Like the other people who are fighting, they're going all fucking out. Like I thought it would just be like light sparring, but no, these guys are doing like I don't know. They have all the fucking armor on, and like when I asked them what is the etiquette, like how much power I should put, and they're like, put 80-90%. And I was like, wait, 80-90? What the fuck? And he's like, yeah. Like just don't try to kill them. Like that's what they basically told me. And I was like, okay, well, interesting. So I basically going in there, and I had to do like a practice punch on him because like I wasn't punching that hard. I didn't want to hurt them at all. That's like what I don't want to do to other humans. But he's like, punch me harder. The guy, the instructor. I was like, oh shit. He's like, if you don't punch me hard, I will beat the shit out of you, like that type of thing. And I was like, okay, fine. So like I threw like an actual punch, and his head very much ricocheted like at a headgear though, so it's like probably doesn't hurt him that much, but his head visibly backlashes. I was like, oh shit. And he's like, all right, good. That's the type of punch. And I was like, oh bro. So like I basically went in and we were fighting, and he's basically doing his fucking weird ass nays and shit. Like I don't know how these boxers do. Like this guy's super fucking fast and super strong, so he's like literally jumping all around me and shit. Like I felt like I was fighting Goku, like the way he just dodges punches, Ultra Instinct, like it was fucking weird. But basically he's letting me like punch me and stuff, and like every so often he does like barrages of punches, because like I have a bunch of open spots, because like I'm not really familiar with sparring. In sparring, there's like so many dimensions and variables that go into it, like from an analytical perspective, because there's an angle of fighting, and then you have all the weak spots, and then you have to know like where's their weak points, and then also be conscious of your own. So like it's kind of hard to mentally calculate that. So I think sparring is a very instinctual game. It's a very intuitive game that you only get better at as you spam spar. It's not really something you read in a book and you're like, oh, now I know how to fight. No, fighting is like you actually have to fight over and over again to get better at it. That's what I realized. Like, I can do the analysis, the logic of, oh, I should position my body like this or that. But when you're having the microseconds, your brain, like, what logic fails at is doing stuff very quickly. That's where logic fails at. Where your body succeeds at in instinct versus logic. I want to make a video about this, but instinct versus logic. Instinct is very, very effective in the physical realm. But basically, I was doing that, and I realized I was like a freezer, because like when he throws punches, like I consciously blink my eyes, so like I don't get my eyes hurt, I guess. But I learned a lot myself in that fight. I was like, damn, I'm a freezer. You know, I think there's like 3 types of people who fighting, but basically most people are fight or flight mode is falling in 3 buckets, where one of them is you're a runner, so you run away. I was kind of doing that, but like I didn't really know how to like fight, because like this guy was like all the way up on me, and he's putting his arms like right up to my chin and shit. Like, I don't know, you can't really run from that. And then there's like the freezers who really freeze up in action, so I guess that's me more. And then the third person is like the actual fighters, like who fight back, and I for one am not that. I don't know if many people are that. Maybe there's like a small niche people that are actually like that, but I think like most people in these fight or flight modes are either freezers or flighters. That's my own instinct. But basically I learned myself a lot in that fight, that sparring. I went for 4 rounds. It was 12 minutes. I actually got a little blister on my foot, which is making me hard to walk right now, but it was from fighting because I was wearing some pretty tight shoes, and I need to wear some different shoes for next time. But basically it was 12 minutes of that. Afterwards I was so fucking exhausted. My body, it felt like I did the boxing training I usually did, but like, I don't know, 3 times more expenditure, even though it was in 12 minutes. And after all the sparring, I sat my ass down because I was so fucking tired. Like, I went to the gym before that. I did like 70 dips and pull-ups, like assisted ones on a weighted one. So I did a little bit of muscle training before, but still, like, usually when I just do boxing or muscle training, like I'm able to do like another few miles of like walking and whatnot. But after 12 minutes of that, I was fucking gassed. I was like, oh shit. I felt so tired. Like, I sat my ass down on the stool and I just looked down on the ground for like 5 minutes straight, and I'm just like reflecting, like, what just happened. It was honestly transformative. I will tell you that before I went into the ring, I was scared as shit. And the big coach, he was like, yo, Ryan, get in the ring. And pretty much when you're fighting, there's only one ring, and then there's all around in the small room all the people who signed up for sparring watching you, and there's like 10 people watching me fight this guy. And that's how it is for like every sparring fight, right? And I was like, damn, I'm scared as shit, but I still went in anyways. I'm kind of glad for myself that I did it, even though I was pretty scared. But you know, it's like, it's sparring, so it's not as if you're in an actual fight, like they're trying to kill you and whatnot, like in the street. But your body still think it is, even though logically your brain's like, yo, this is just like large sparring. So I don't know, I learned a lot about myself there, and my lessons forward is that I'll still keep doing the combat training, trying to get better sparring. And I think one of my barriers, my fears to overcome, is this fear of punching and whatnot, and trying to not freeze up, because it was honestly really scary. And it doesn't make sense logically to do that, because if you freeze up against a fight, so like the logic behind why you freeze up when you are in a fight or in a dangerous situation is because your body pretty much shuts down because they're overwhelmed by this opponent. But the logical thing to do is actually try your best and try to attack back an opponent to maximize your odds of survival. That's the logical thing, but your brain just wants to give up then and there, which I find a little weird. That's what I want to talk about in this video, lessons learned from first time sparring. And I will basically just keep doing it, log my own thoughts on this YouTube channel, some more about the sparring stuff. And I guess like backstory wise, I don't know if I said it, but I'm not coming from a world of sports, because growing up from high school, I was part of the super obese kids, and I was super into anime and video games and pretty much all the nerd stuff. I was super good at math, science. Like, I was basically the archetypal nerd in high school. Even in college I was nerd, but I started hitting the gym, and then like after I got rejected from marching band because I was too fat, because I was literally unable to walk properly. So I started going to the gym, and then everything changed, and now I'm more like on the polar opposite side. Like now I'm fucking boxing people, this ripped black dude, I'm fighting his ass, and I'm just like looking back into my past, and I'm like, what? I went from this nerdy dude into now actually boxing. Like back then, like I would have never imagined I would be in the situation I am today. And I would say a lot of people recently, when they tell them things I've done, 1v9ing people at the church, or doing just networking, or doing boxing, like all this stuff, within a few months of going to a new place, people are saying, you're pretty ballsy for that. And I was like, well, I guess I am, but like I just say, what's the alternative? Because you either do it or you don't. Because if you want to have the things that you want, confidence, knowing you can do hard things, and basically making new friends in a new place, you have to make the leap. You have to go over the discomfort. You have to accept that risk that you cannot be accepted by the people around you, or that you will be beat up in the face. You have to accept that risk, and behind that risk is a large reward. But the thing is that even in life, a lot of these risks are very infinitesimal. They're very small, and the only risk there isn't really anything that actually has that much of a risk in life, I would argue, because the worst thing that somebody can happen is death. But if you are a religious person like me, then death doesn't matter, because that actually enables you to be closer to God, basically. But yeah, I will argue that there's no such thing as that. Maybe that's a good video. I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. So boxing is interesting, and I'm basically trying to revert a lot of those growing up from as a kid to high school, and trying to revert all of those parts about me that is honestly like pretty emasculated. And I guess that's why now today I'll describe myself as this weird mix of emasculated person versus masculated person. I don't know, like it's in internet, it's either both sides of the spectrum. You either have the super emasculate people or the super masculine people, and it's like red pill versus blue pill, or the hell. There's no really such a thing as a moderate side of it. I don't think it's glamorized at all. But I also have a feeling that a lot of people are in that boat, and they're kind of confused. But I don't know, I just want to talk about this in the video, the lessons learned from the sparring. Basically, I learned I'm a freezer, and sparring, it's not really something you can read a book about. You kind of just have to do it. And I will continue to do it, give my own thoughts more about it. But yep, I'll see you guys.